Hi, it's Toby, and today I wanted to talk to you about what I consider to be my 5 top tips for how you can overcome times of adversity and challenge. Now, it's quite a sort of global subject for me, but I think sometimes it's worth remembering that the principles that apply to one thing generally apply to most things. It's not always the case that every problem has its own distinct solution, but rather that by adopting the same general principles and practices in our lives, we can kind of apply those and get the results in most areas of life, and particularly when we're trying to overcome times of challenge. And I think that these 5 things, whilst perhaps somewhat obvious, can actually be massively valuable when you take them as a whole and consider the overall effects of each of them. So I wanted to start off by listing them off, and then I'm going to dive into each one just so you can get a bit more insight into what it is that I think makes each of them important. So the first one is called Get Active. Now, obviously it's a simple thing to say, get active, get out there and do something. But in all honesty, I think it's the one thing that's most massively overlooked whenever anyone's facing a time of challenge. Obviously, when you're kind of faced with a problem, and whatever that problem may be, whether it's a financial challenge, problem as you're working through something difficult in your relationship, maybe a divorce, a separation, difficulties with your kids, often the first reaction is to kind of get insular, and it's to kind of get into yourself and to sometimes kind of shy away from taking any action because you're just too paralyzed by either fear or frustration or anger or sadness. And whichever of those things is kind of hampering you, it's going to prevent you from actually getting on and doing anything really valuable. And it's doing things that are actually going to make a difference. So in the most literal sense, when I say get active, I actually mean get yourself up and about. Don't sit there thinking, don't just get into your mind and retreat into yourself, but actually take some action. It doesn't matter if you're simply going for a walk to clear your head, or if you're picking up the phone and making that difficult call and having that difficult conversation. The simple fact is that if you're taking action, you're going to be moving in the right direction. So that's the first step. Just referring to my notes here, so bear with me. The second part of it is not comparing ourselves to others. Now, this can manifest itself in many, many different ways, but regardless of which way you manifest it, the simple fact is that when we compare ourselves to others, it's completely unhelpful. If, for example, you're working through a divorce and you're looking at your ex and you're thinking, wow, they're just getting on with it, they're getting through life, they're moving on, they've found someone else, then that can ultimately make you feel frustrated and question your own actions and question what you're doing and whether you're actually even recovering. But the fact is, you have no idea what's going on in their lives. And if you're kind of just observing them from a distance, or if you're actually going as far as to do what probably most people do at some stage, which is to kind of cyber snoop on them and try and figure out what's going on in their lives via Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever else, then ultimately you're kind of seeing only a skewed view of what they want the world to see. You know, who actually shares their realities on Facebook? I don't think anyone does, even if that's the people that are saying, I'm really down and I'm really struggling today. What that is essentially is a kind of a cry for help, but it's someone who wants someone else to ask them about their day so they can tell them their problems. But most of the time, people just share the good stuff. They just want to give a portrayal of the best parts of their lives. So naturally, if you can see your ex in your divorce and they're kind of posting how great the world is and they're maybe booking a holiday or getting to the gym and looking great or whatever, then the only possible thing you're going to feel is bad. So just don't do it to yourself. And the same goes for anyone else. If you're trying to build a business and you're struggling and you look around you and all you see is loads of people who are kind of killing it and who are making loads of money and succeeding and getting loads of plaudits and getting loads of followers on their public posts on social media or whatever, then the only possible outcome of that is you're going to feel negatively about yourself. So the simple guidance in step 2 is avoid comparisons. The next thing, and this is again another tricky one, but it's something that's essential, is that you've got to see all challenges and adversities as opportunities to learn and to grow. Now, for me, my most recent challenge this year has been trying to take control of my physical state and to try and actually get into regular exercise again, to get stronger, to get leaner, to get fitter. Not just because I'm kind of seeing my midlife crisis rumbling around the corner at the age of 42, but actually because it's the right thing to do. I want to preserve myself and I want to live a full and happy and healthy life. But it's difficult, you go to the gym and you're surrounded by people who are seemingly finding it easy, and you've got to kind of overcome the process of figuring out how to make it fit within your life and how to adopt these healthy habits. And yet at the same time, it just seems like the hardest thing in the world, notwithstanding the fact that you've got all the aches and pains to deal with, but it seems like a hard thing to do, because it is a hard thing to do. But the fact is, so is anything difficult. Any challenge or adversity has to be taken as an opportunity to kind of invest yourself in the process and then to learn and grow through it so that you actually do achieve the results. Never expect it to be easy, because nothing's ever easy, as we know. Nothing ever happens as quickly as we'd like it to. It often takes at least double the amount of time, if not more. And the reality is that it is going to be hard. Anything worthwhile is going to be hard and is going to take time. And that includes whether you're healing through pain of divorce, or whether you're trying to build a new business, or whether you're trying to get fit like me. The fact is, it's difficult. But if you take it as an opportunity to grow and to strengthen yourself and become better, then ultimately that's what you're going to do. Except there are going to be knocks along the way, and accept and deal with that. But fundamentally, it's a chance to learn and grow. So the next one is that you need to be able to turn your focus on where you are and focus on feeling grateful for what you have. Now, if you're grateful for what you have, that's a great basis upon which to build more things. You need the foundations of your life to be positive and to be fulfilled before you can actually achieve more. So when you're doing what you can with what you have, then ultimately you're going to be far more contented and far more likely to succeed than you would be if you were just constantly fixated on what you don't have. Now, what I mean by that is, obviously, in terms of my fitness quest again, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and it has been a challenge to make the gains that I've made since January. But the fact is, if I were resistant to that and I was regretful for the fact that I was starting where I was, then I'd have fallen and I've failed before I'd even got started. In reality, accepting that I'm starting from not a horrendous level of fitness, but actually I am where I am, then, the only possible way is going to be up. But I should also be grateful for the fact that I'm able to kind of throw myself into a gym regime straight away, and I haven't got to lose 50 pounds before I can even go for a run. The fact is, I am where I am. I've got what I've got to start with, and I need to make the best of that. And that goes for anything, in a divorce as well. If you're moving forwards from a failed relationship, you may well be starting from what you consider to be rock bottom. And not least for the fact that it enables me to bring in one of my favourite quotes from J.K. Rowling, that rock bottom was the solid foundation upon which she built the rest of her life. But the fact is, if you're starting from somewhere where even you perceive that you're at rock bottom, you've still got a load to be thankful for. You've likely got your health, you've got the support of people around you, you've got the positive opportunity to start again and to build a new life that's based around you and your needs, and potentially those of your kids as well. But fundamentally, you have a lot to be grateful for. Even the fact that you're watching this video now suggests to me that you've probably got a certain level of privilege in your life. You've got access to technology, and at the very least, you're breathing, and a lot of people can't even say that. They're stuck in a hospital, or they're unwell. They simply don't even have their health. So everyone has something to be grateful for. But start where you are and then build on those foundations, rather than being regretful that you're not in a better position, because fundamentally you are where you are and you can't do anything about that. So be grateful for it. The final thing, I kind of touched upon it earlier, but you've got to recognize the importance of time. There's a load of cliches around this. Time's a healer, everything takes time, anything worth having takes time. But the fact is, it does. You can't change things instantly, overnight, and with the click of your fingers, as much as you'd like to. Anything that's worth having does take time to work towards. Results take time to achieve. In my quest for fitness, it's going to take time for me to get from where I am now to where I want to be. But also, I'm then going to be in a phase of maintenance for the rest of my life. It's not just going to be the case that I get from A to B and then I remain there for the rest of my life. It takes time to achieve it, and it also then takes an investment of time on an ongoing basis to maintain it. And when you're working through a failed relationship, you may feel desolate today. You can't see how you're possibly ever going to be able to be happy and survive and live the happy life that you deserve to live and that you want to live going forwards. But ultimately over time you'll figure out how to do it. You'll work around the things that are challenging to you, you'll learn from them, you'll figure out how to better function, how to get what you want out of life, and how to become the person that you want to be for yourself and for those who matter to you and who you love. And ultimately you'll be able to embed those habits, but only over time. Embedding a habit and for something to become a habit takes time. And often, we're going to set out wanting to have everything now, wanting to have it yesterday, in fact, but it's simply not realistic. So you need to accept that it's going to take time and allow that to happen, and allow yourself to work towards things without just waiting for results to come. So there you have it. Those are my 5 top tips for how you're going to deal with adversity and how you're going to actually become the person you want to be and achieve the things you want to achieve over time. So I'm just going to recap them, and forgive me for reading them off the list again. First, get active, take action, and do what's necessary to get to where you want to be. Second, avoid comparisons with anyone other than yourself. You are you, and you need to focus on what you have and what you're doing and not worry about anyone else, because chances are what you see of other people isn't going to be realistic or actually factual anyway. The next one is to see all challenges as prompts and opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen. Fourth, you need to turn the focus on where you are and to feel grateful for where you are, and to start with what you have and do what you can with what you have. Not be regretful that you're not somewhere else or that you're not further along the journey. And number 5, you need to recognise the importance and respect the importance of allowing time to pass, and just accept that all good things take time to manifest. But once you allow the time to pass and you take the actions, I can guarantee you that those things are going to come. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. I hope you find it useful. If you want to contact me and give me your feedback or give me your opinions on what I've just added there, then I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me via all the usual channels, and I'll obviously include some links beneath this. And in the meantime, I hope you're doing good. I look forward to speaking with you next time. Take care, and for now, this is Toby saying goodbye.